slide with me if you feel like 550 on the 5 sticky, come get high with me, that's a deal, right? Ride with me if you ride with me, you can slide with me if you feel like 550 on the 5 sticky, come get high with me, that's a deal, right? That's a deal, right? That's a bet, right? That's a bet, right? That's a deal, right? That's a deal, right? That's a bet, right? That's a deal, right? That's a deal, right? That's a bet, right? That's a deal, right? That's a deal, right? Ayy, coming down like precipitation. I ain't never met a limitation. Hate plotting my elimination. Gotta go to Google for the information. I'm a superstar, so I gotta shine. Top dollar be the bottom line. Bottom feeding niggas out of line. Turn your heart rate to a dotted line. Yeah, my zodiac probably dollar sign. Got the energy to win it, my nigga, I'm feeling great. Got a day with destiny, focusing on my fate. I don't give a fuck what you rapping, you been a fake. I'm everything that they ain't, it can't be, it won't be. Wanna see me fall, I can't go, I won't leave. Coming from the block with plain clothes and police. Straight up to the top with bankrolls and rollies. Ride with me if you ride with me, you can slide with me if you feel like 550 on the 5 sticky, come get high with me, that's a deal, right? Ride with me if you ride with me, you can slide with me if you feel like 550 on the 5 sticky, come get high with me, that's a deal, right? That's a deal, right? That's a bet, right? That's a bet, right? That's a deal, right? That's a deal, right? That's a bet, right? That's a deal, right? That's a deal, right? That's a bet, right? That's a deal, right? That's a deal, right? Ayy, 12 can't really stop shit, so I'm still pushing like a mosh pit. Ice dripping, think I'm hot shit. In a yellow bucket with the mop stick. I've been jugging jams like wholesale. Everything must go sell. Hitting bitches with the old well. Need 100 million on the low scale. On my worst night, I'm the best nigga. Wouldn't mess with you, couldn't cap to him. Homie spotted me like 700, brought 1100 right back to him. If I can't do it, then it ain't real. I just make dollars, I don't make deals. I've been going hard in the paint, still blowing cushion clouds till I can't feel like. Ride with me if you ride with me, you can slide with me if you feel like 550 on the 5 sticky, come get high with me, that's a deal, right? Ride with me if you ride with me, you can slide with me if you feel like 550 on the 5 sticky, come get high with me, that's a deal, right? That's a deal, right? That's a bet, right? That's a bet, right? That's a deal, right? That's a deal, right? That's a bet, right? That's a deal, right? That's a deal, right? That's a bet, right? That's a deal, right? That's a deal, right?
Oh, wrong league.
Good evening, gamers, and welcome back to Titan Esports Conqueror League. We are here in week number 5, Group A, between Elysium Esports and XSV Rush. This is going to be kind of a deciding game to see where things split off for playoffs. And of course, I am here joined by Jay Beto. How you doing tonight?
I'm doing good. It is a lovely, slightly cold morning for me, upside down. But yes, I'm excited to watch some of these players. I haven't seen many. I believe maybe I'm familiar with Humor, but yeah, I don't really know any of these players, so I'm super excited to see what they can bring to this game. These are all important matches coming into playoffs soon, not too soon, but relatively soon. So all of this stuff from the other teams is scouting. What are you going to do against some teams? Now, there's been 2 back-to-back pretty big patches as well that will be shaking up how teams are playing. The last one was quite big. This one's quite big as well. Going into MSI. So obviously these patches aren't super focused towards us, but they still affect us quite a lot.
Well, and part of it, as you said, you mentioned some of the players like, Elysium Solar and XSVR both have had some like roster reconstruction happen recently. One of the teams actually only played with one original member from their starting 5 last week in one of their games. One of the big matches to watch tonight is going to be that bot lane with a lot of new additions. Of course, as we look at the patch notes, we do see a couple of nerfs: Rise, Twisted Fate, Vi, and York, all taking a little bit of a step back. Buffs to some maybe less traditional champions that aren't seeing a ton of play right now: Fiddlesticks, Gangplank, Aurelia, Kindred, Nidalee, and Rammus. And then, of course, one of everybody's favorite skin lines, we do see more Spirit Blossom skins hitting the Rift coming now. So I don't know about you, I'm a big Spirit Blossom fan. I think they're a great set of skins. Really no complaints with any of them that have come out. Honestly,
Yeah,
I think they've all been pretty
I think
good.
they're one of the nicest skin lines. I agree.
Yeah.
I think the most interesting change maybe for us is the Rammus change, because he's been changed and then buffed quite significantly. Now his W scales. It's, I think, one of the most interesting like directions to take a champion, because I know that Riot is very happy with their design philosophy of champion caters to situation, and Rammus
Yeah.
very heavily fills that. Now, obviously, in organized competitive play, he's not going to see any, play time, because you just don't ever draft 5 AD with 2 or 3 ADCs.
Right.
But now that he's been changed, it might, changed and buffed. He might start to come up when things like the Skarner, if you're looking for an AD tank jungler, and the Skarner isn't played, when the things like the Amumu that are a bit more popular than Sejuani Maokai aren't played. Who knows? Maybe.
Yeah, I agree. Of course, as we get into draft here, I think you bring up a good point. It is very interesting to see, like, you talk about like AD tank junglers, and honestly, tank junglers in general have seen kind of a big downturn in a lot of competitive play right now. We're seeing a lot more of that bruiser focused, Xin Zhao, Pantheon, champions like that are seeing a lot higher play. And of course, we are going to see one of those type of champs. We'll call him a bruiser. Viego going to be one of the first bans locked down here for XSVR, followed by Kindred. For those of you sitting at home, there was some penalties issue, and Elysian Solar is actually going to miss their first 3 bans for this series. Oh, maybe I lied. Maybe it was just 1 ban. But they did have a penalty, so they're going to miss a ban there, which is why you're going to see that as blank.
Okay, just the 1 ban. Yes. Yeah. But, I mean, the Kindred, just saw that in the patch notes, getting banned away here as well. Not wanting to play against that. The Viego is a solid option if you can build a team comp around it. And I would imagine the Sivir is a target ban, as it's not really the highest priority AD carry in my mind. But no. Ivan as well banned away. It's Mel first.
Yep. Yeah, Mel being kind of one of the higher priority picks in a lot of Titan leagues. When you look at the 6 leagues that Titan does, Mel and Hui both seeing a lot of heavy B1 play. Jarvan, another pretty good answer, immobile mage, answered by some some extra CC here from the J4, so not too surprising here. Then you got to imagine we'll look for, a comfortable, I was going to say AD carry, but Xerath going to be the lock-in here for Humor on the side of Elysium Esports. What do you think about that? That's kind of an interesting choice very early on.
I like it when you're against the Mel, because the idea of Mel is that she's going to outrange you. A lot of the mages in mid have a rough time into her, so Xerath trying to basically fight fire with fire. The Jarvan, fairly obvious matchup there, just land ult onto Mel and she can't get away. Jin Zhao is an interesting one, like this early. I think that it's really hard into Xerath. It can like block all of his damage, sure, but you're taking it out of the pool now, so it can't be played for the remainder of the set. In a match where it's not the best, I think. I don't think it pairs too well with the Mel. I think there's other things that can do better. Smaller is good against the Jarvan. Obviously, that's a great matchup. But now Zeri, I think Zeri is super underrated right now. Has caught some back-to-back buffs.
Agreed.
I've played it against it a little bit. Man, when she ults you, you just fall apart. And more than you did before with the extra damage on it. It's a bit of, like, Elysium's draft is a little bit all over the place right now with, some really heavy poke with Xerath and then some hardcore dive short range engage with like Zeri Jarvan. Lulu being banned away as well does hamper the Zeri just a little bit. But I mean, could you go Yuumi here? I don't know.
Maybe. I mean, I think what we're going to have to see out of XSVR is they've got to find a way to get onto this backline, right? It's not Xin Zhao, right? Xin Zhao cannot be your reliable backline dive threat. His ultimate very, very good for buying space for your carries to do things. And Yon got to be locked in. That's something that can dive the backline. So I think that's a good answer from XSVR here. Because you've got to be able to get on that. Of course, Lulu being a good ban just to kind of give less protection. With the Rel, though, I think Milio, an open option here for Solar and probably something that I would lean towards. But I guess we'll have to see what they think.
Yeah, the Yone, pretty decent matchup into the Ornn. It's going to be Poppy, so it does still hamper the engage quite a lot. But I guess it's more Elysium wants to commit more to the team play aspect of the anti-engage with the Yone, the small defly Xin Zhao. It will make like this Xerath a little bit out of position because Elysium's draft now is basically full team fight, short range, run at them. We're not going to get dove. We're going to dive you in like a kind of skirmishy comp, but the Xerath is basically just played for lane here. And if you're able to play kind of like a Jhin with your ult, just sit at the back, ult over from a very safe position and land onto whoever you're all-inning. That could be the Yone, could be the Rel, could be the Smolder if you're able to catch him out. Then that's an option. But, I mean, late game, I think there's a break point for Elysium where Zeri Ornn, level 16, very, very strong. But eventually, something like the Smolder will take over. And, I mean, Rel Yone is so much engage.
Yeah. Well, I gotta go back to this Poppy pick just a little bit. I tend to like this. I know I'm a big advocate for Milio. I think the champ is very, very well positioned in the meta right now. However, I like the thought from Solar here on the side of like, you know what? We need something that's kind of got, like you said, give us that anti-engage option, but still gives us the ability to be a little more proactive, right? Of course, this bot lane is going to be kind of the lane to watch. Between these two teams, Angel and Zendrick really trying to find their chemistry, Chaser and Supporta also trying to find that chemistry as they've not been playing together very long. Like I said, both these teams going through some roster reconstruction. So I think it'll be interesting. And I like that they're giving him that option to like, okay, we're going to find something that gives us a little agency in lane. Maybe we can make some plays. Of course, we'll have to see the runes and, are we going Ignite? Are we going Exhaust for this in and Smolder later? What are we doing? I also think if we kind of shift to the other side of the map here, we've got to look at is Metal going to be able to neutralize this lane effectively throughout all stages? Of course, we know Ornn probably going to have decent control early on. The Brittle, is going to have good damage. He's going to be able to fight back and trade equitably. But Yone is going to hit that point, especially first item, level 9, where Ornn's not going to have a lot of agency and, the ability to control that lane is going to sweep back towards XSVR, and we'll see how they're able to kind of turn that into Rift Herald into plays on the other side of the map? Are we going to see any lane swaps, anything like that? So very interesting. So I do this with all the casters I go with. We always kind of do like a mini prediction, our own little pro comps draft analysis. But who do you have to give to? Just purely looking at the drafts, the champions picked. Who do you give the edge to here in game one?
I mean, I think both teams have aspects to their draft that I really, really like. I think that XSV has some ridiculous dives, some really solid late game, and decent laning with the Yone against the Ornn, and Smolder can do really well early against the Zeri Poppy. But they are missing a bit of tank. So, that aspect for Elysium, they don't have a Zeri, they have a Xerath that doesn't really deal with an Ornn, funnily enough, very well. They don't really have to worry about because there isn't really a tank outside of maybe Rel if she gets full build somehow.
right.
On the side of Elysium, I'm a really big fan of Zeri. I think that she is super strong. I love Poppy if you're able to play Poppy super well. If you're able to use Keeper's Verdict at the right moment, it can be completely game-changing, and I'm a huge fan of Ornn as well. But I think that the comp is harder to execute on because...
Agreed.
I'm not going to say Chaser isn't a Zeri player, but you kind of have to be a Zeri player, or a decent Zeri player to pick it. You can't just say, okay, guys, pick me Zeri here. It's really good.
Right.
I need to scale the same as Smolder. So I'm going to have to give it to XSV. I think their team fighting is a little bit more straightforward. They are pretty one-note, but as long as they don't get caught out by some Zeri ults, by that they call the Forge God smashing through everybody. I think both teams have a very, very solid chance, though. I love the Jarvan into the Mel. But yeah, I think it's hard.
I agree. I think it is a lot closer than general, but I'm with you. I tend to always lean towards ease of execution, especially in, this is a D4 capped league. I wouldn't necessarily call this low elo, but lower elo leagues, your ease of execution tends to be, a little higher on the win percentage side just because, some of these other more complicated comps are amazing and they can do really cool things. But like you said, the ability to execute those things significantly increases as well. So I'm kind of with you, but it looks like we are ready to get into the Rift here for game number 1 between Elysian Solar and XSV Rush. It's going to be a very exciting game. I am super excited to see both teams still vying for a spot here in playoffs as we get started. And this is a good time to start. It looks like we are going to get started here as soon as this pause comes off. And here we go.
All right. I'm excited. We're here. I'm ready. Let's have a quick look at runes and summon spells as we've got quite a while before this game start. Double barrier. Risky on these hyper carries to not go cleanse. We've got obviously TPs across the board in the solo lanes. Fleet footwork from the Smolder, fairly standard everywhere. Nothing too crazy as of just right now. It is the exhaust out of Supporter, which can be hit onto the Yone, so the Jinjal like you were talking about, and the Smolder if you're able to land onto Angel towards the later end of the game. But pro comps, they love Elysium's draft.
That's absolutely crazy. That's very one-sided. You don't tend to see that very, very often. Wow. I would not have pegged that. That's very interesting. Kind of a little unstandard 5-pointing here is I'm not quite sure what XSVR, what Rush is doing. Not really kind of protecting against any sort of vision invade or anything like that, but does look like Solar just going to go ahead and keep their 5 points. Nothing too exciting to get the game started on.
Yeah, I am really surprised about that. I wonder what is the reason. I guess it would be like a matchup thing, right? A
Probably.
win percentage over average champions. I do think Zeri is better than Smolder as a late game, hyper carry at the moment. Because there's obviously if Smolder gets to, 1,000 stacks somehow, he will just insta-kill your entire team, sure. But that's never happening. So
Right.
for the most part, I feel like if you have a great execution on Zeri is just better, does more AoE team damage. And I mean Smolder's seen quite a lot of nerfs over the time. right? Trying to find Smolder's position, which I think is a good thing. Like, if you've got a champion that has a fun kit, which I think Smolder does have, but you got to find the position where it's fun to play and okay to play against. I think it's difficult, but it is indicative of a fun champion overall. With the Ornn, I mean, the changes to Smolder over the months, not increasing the execute threshold on the Q, or on the passive, sorry, makes so that tanks are technically better into Smolder overall than something else, because yeah, you take a bunch of true damage, which, you know, surely that would be pretty bad for the Ornn, but at least he doesn't get executed at a certain amount of HP. But the double execute, this is something that a couple of teams I've been watching have gone towards. Smolder and Mel together, it's a lot of range, and it feels pretty bad when Smolder gets stacks and you see the double execute threshold. You're like, man, if either of these guys hit me to a certain amount of HP, it is just over.
Absolutely, and you know, we were talking about, looks like we're going to get a little bit of a double here as Yon doing some heavy trading here on the top side, trying to get control of this wave, but the level 4 coming through for Metal going to make him back up. And as we talked about on this bot side, you know, like you said, kind of an easy time for Smolder and Rel to get stacks. God's looking for a little bit of something, but just going to go ahead and take that crab. Of course, you know, this is actually a pretty good positioning here as, ooh, we may have something. Xin looking here for Metal. Gathering Storm going to miss, just go wide, and he is going to be able to dash out, and it looks like nothing more than a little extra damage going to get on here. Of course, down here, the wave in a very precarious position as Jarvan able to kind of keep Angel and Zendrick from pushing it in. And nothing too exciting to start the game off, at the least.
A little bit of wind and lightning up in the top lane, but it's just, maybe just a little breeze instead. A little visit down bot lane, TP now, out of Metal into the top. I think he's doing a pretty good job in this lane so far. I mean, down 10 CS, nearly 15 now. It does hurt a lot, but it's a pretty rough matchup, especially if Kuzu knows what he's doing on the Yone. I have seen what happens when Yone is piloted in the top lane by someone who knows what they're doing. I mean, I'm thinking of Zeus, obviously, but this isn't that. But still, if you can execute Yone in a way like that, sometimes the lane can be pretty unplayable. 26 now, down the bot side. Could look for a gank as God's Glory up in the top side. But the funny part about this, also the interesting part about this, is that Elysium have all 3 lanes winning at this moment, which is pretty difficult for Quick6 to make a move. It is, I mean, kind of unfortunate that God's Glory is nowhere near for a lane and can't really use this pressure to go for Dragon either. Just decides, I want to go for more farm, and eventually these waves will crash. Like, that was a really great turn for Rush right there. So a good timer to make some plays. Instead, decide not to take it. Metal has to base. Kuzu's base with TP. He's got full boots. It is going to be his turn in the top lane for a while now. Bot lane's pushing out. Yeah, I think I would have liked God's Glory to go for something there, whether it was a dragon pull. Both mid and bot having prior is basically guaranteed dragon unless you lose the team fight after. But
absolutely,
God's Glory looking now down the bot side for something.
Yeah, you gotta imagine trying to keep this Smolder off the pressure and just kind of holding that wave too. They do not see God's Glory here. He may have the angle to wrap around. Ooh, we gotta look here. And Angel flapping. Oh, the Flag and Drag gonna connect into the stun on the wall. Rel going to try to save, but the exhaust is too much. That is gonna be first blood over to Chaser on the Zeri. That's exactly what you want as Elysium Solar to get your game started.
Yeah, Angel just flashes when the Flag Drag comes through, dodges the knock-up. I mean, it's a difficult task, but Supporter was quite far away. With that dash into the wall, wouldn't have been able to stop Angel getting away. Unfortunately, you do use Flash, and Flash on Zeri as well, so it's an okay trade, I guess, but that's pretty cope, you know, if you're a run ahead. It is a killer's first blood over to Zeri in a lane that you were already winning. Now Dragon. And this Zeri's gonna become an issue significantly earlier than the Smolder will. Not only is 225 stacks a while away, but that's not even like the biggest spike for Zeri. You know, 3 items, maybe 300 stacks, 350 stacks. And that's a tall task to ask for, but after Smolder's been hit multiple times by these nerfs, like I mentioned before, it's not the same as Zeri. Zeri hits level 6. She's pretty good. She hits level 11. Double ult, has 2-3 items. She's so strong. And the Queen Sticks can't land onto the Zeri. And who
Well,
is?
absolutely, and you got to think about it this way too: is that not only did you get that gold, they're able to get this huge CS advantage as she catches this wave under tower, and then look at the backs. We have BF longsword boots versus pickaxe longsword no boots. So I mean, when you think in terms of raw damage,
hell yeah.
I mean, this is going to be a huge difference in the power level in this bot side. And that's definitely something to keep in mind. As we do have Zendrick rotating over, Angel just trying to get the wave shoved under, as they do look to use this top prio like we talked about and make a play here on Grubs.
I'm going to be careful here. This is a complete freeze as soon as Rel is spotted, if at all, but might not be if Supporter decides to walk up and look for another all-in. That's super cool. I didn't know we had that graphic, but that's really cool. 43. Yeah. It's going to be a pretty rough time. This is the thing. In pro play, when we see Smolder, it's mostly mid lane, and it's mostly against melee mid laners. Like I see the biggest Smolder player is Chovy, and he'll play it against things like a Yone, where you've got a big buffer window in the lane before Boots and level 6 comes online, when you completely farm stacks.
Yeah.
And then even still, you do a decent enough job against the Yone of using your flight to get away from the Yone's kind of like trading pattern, continuously farming stacks, and obviously you have to be quite good at farming and hitting those Qs, as Chovy is. But when you're in the bot lane, which we don't see Smolder too much, and if your support leaves you ever, which in this coordinated play is going to happen for things like Grubs and team fights or mid ganks or covering or whatever it is, Angel is just completely useless in lane. If Supporter walks up at all, Angel is completely zoned away from the wave, is frozen, can't poke, which you really need to on Samola to get these stacks up. 50, around about 50 in 10 minutes. That's not a whole lot. God's glory. Again in bot lane.
Oh, the lack of vision here is astounding. This is going to be another play. The steadfast presence, something to keep an eye on here with Supportas. This Poppy also hiding as here goes the play. Looks like they're going to find their time. Huge crash down to get him, but the Cataclysm is still going to lock Angel down with no flash. Oh my gosh, of course, Mom coming down, getting some stacks, but very well played by Zendrick. It just wasn't enough. No flash, not able to keep him down, and that is 2 kills over to Chaser on this area.
It's just still the same kind of formula. Supporter has even, better potential to all in faster if he wants to flash stun into the wall, but you're not even using these summoners. You're going to take quite low here.
Flag and got a stick here. The flash away. That's a lot of damage coming down from Humor. Wow, just a little bit of mispositioning. I'm not quite sure what their thought process was there. Of course, Rutledge really trying to back away here. Got to be very aware of the Rite of the Arcane ultimate coming from Xerath when you get low in that lane. That's another flash. That's another key timer we can expect Glory to come back to lane and look for.
He's been quite good at that so far, punishing these flash timers. Keeper's Verdict was used there as well by Supporter.
Ooh.
Not able to land it. What's Glory? A bit
just gonna get out.
Over eager, I would say, if you're trying to take that. I don't think if you I don't know if you win that specifically.
Yeah, I wouldn't be. I think with the mid rotation, you might be okay there if the Solar Snare can connect. Of course, the Golden Eclipse off cooldown is usable, but we'll have to see. Of course, we look back at this top lane, 23 CS lead, 1 full plate. Yone basically in full control of this lane at this stage. Is just going to get some extra damage there, snapping back. And Metal, half HP, 3rd mana. He's definitely in a rough spot here as Dragon is about to spawn in 20 seconds.
And this is Prio again for Elysium. Will be 2 dragons to them if they're able to get it. Chemtech sold off the table as well, so outside of unfortunately getting an Ocean Soul,
ooh, the Solar Snare is
a bunch of damage.
Yeah, the Flamer are going to go wide here, but we do have a Cataclysm. He's going to hold it. He is going to use it to knock down Rutledge. Unfortunately, Kukasu going in here, not quite sure. The TP's very delayed. The Fag and Drag, the Arcane Right looking for some damage, but is he gonna get a face sealed? Gonna get him out! And he is barely able. No! Comment from Humor! Absolutely spot on with that final kill there. Holy cow. That is so devastating for XSVR right now. Wow. Wow, we're gonna take a quick replay and look at that, but that was just such a delayed TP from Kuzu right there. Just he came in so late here. And maybe just not understanding, like they have no vision. Yeah, this solar
no
snare.
Vision, no prior.
Oh my
Rutledge in the
gosh.
smell as well does so much burst damage. Isn't able to basically one-shot Humor. Once that happens, there's no damage available. Just a beautiful body block basically from Elysium to stop Kuzu from getting in. And even still, Zendrix rotated up. Chaser is here too. Even if you trade and get Xerath here.
Oh, the Comet too. It is Comet. Yeah. Oh my gosh. Absolutely. Absolutely devastating for Kuzu there. Oh my gosh. But that is, of course, gets us to about a 2,000 gold lead here as Kuzu back in the top lane trying to get some revenge. Not feeling great about that last play here. Wow, yeah, I mean, if you're Elysium Solar, you're feeling pretty good about how this game is progressing so far.
Yes, and the biggest problem here...
All the Forge God coming down. It is going to go wide. No danger there for Kuzu, but of course, those who know, the brittle damage, the combo you can get down on Ornn does quite a lot. As we're going to take a closer look at gold in individual lanes. Gonna take a little tower shot there, but we do see 1,000 gold, 1,100 gold up in the bot lane for Zeri there. Support's relatively even. Mid lane, a small deficit, about 200 gold. The jungle now, those assists piling up. We're gonna see 600, almost 700 gold now in the jungle difference. And then top lane, Ornn doing a good job with that TP, still staying relatively even, only down about 100, 150 gold right now.
Yeah, it is only, 2k or so lead for, there we go, updated stacks here, not even 100, nearly 15 minutes. Angel is so far behind on Smolder right now, but only about 2k lead. 2 dragons is a big deal, but most of, if not all of this gold lead is on the Zeri, which is a big deal. And secondarily, 2 Drakes to none, and it's Infernal Soul. Infernal Soul Zeri with a 1k gold lead is absolutely terrifying. And I don't love calling games early, but like if this game continues this way, Chaser basically just has free agency the whole game to do whatever he wants. Once again,
God's Glory is back. Angel has Flash this time. Crashed out from Zendrix, doing a pretty good job, but the Cataclysm gonna land, flashing away from Angel. He's gonna use the Flagger of Mom coming down on Chaser, getting some good damage down, but they're not gonna be able to follow up. As, you know what, I appreciate God looking, and depending on what happens, looks like they're gonna go away, no wave. Mid happening. Looks like we'll have to get a replay on mid as we saw the Arcane Right animation go off, and Rutledge is down. So yeah, maybe we can get a quick look at what happened mid there. At least, if you're an XSVR fan, we did get the Herald while that was happening. We're gonna take a look back in mid, see what happens here.
Basically.
Oh,
takes
damn.
the Q there.
Oh, all abilities. The reflect is over.
It's just gonna be stunning to ult, isn't it? It's just point blank.
Oh man.
Who needs
we talked about this lane power, right? And Humor with that boost is just pumping some extra damage here. As looks like they're gonna try to get something back here for Queen 6, taking control of this top side. They have no prio on the bot side, really trying to take control here and get some of these camps back. But God's Glory gonna come in here. We might see a skirmish come out. Of course, God's Glory all by himself, flashing away. Wait, I'm not going to connect here. So much dashing in, so much damage, and he is gunning to save. Wind becomes lightning, takes him out at the end. Queen 6 salvaging what could have been a lost play, but that TP coming in. You gotta watch that Red Presence. A huge knockup on Kuzu here. Call the Force God coming down. The Soul Flare not going to be enough. Metal not going to get the second knockback. Queen 6 really trying to lock him in. Wind become lightning. Following up the damage. He is going to take it, but it is going to pay with his life. And Chaser is here. Rutledge flashing out. The volley not going to be able to do damage. And this looks like another kill. Going to be going down to the side of Elysium Solar here. He's going to dodge, though. The Reflect not available. Is available. He's going to whip it as Chaser able to take this down. They're trying to feed the other kill to Zeri. and they are able to do so. It's going to be a what equates to a 2 for 3. It's Humor in a bit of trouble here. Oh, the flash out, Humor in trouble. The volley, oh, but the shutdown goes to Zendrick. The last second auto. Oh, that's a terrible way to end that. Oh my gosh, that could have been such a swing. It's 1,000 gold shutdown, gonna go over to the support for XVR. Unfortunate as they try to make a play back. Oh, man, I want to say they evened the gold up to about 1,000, but with 1,000 of that going on to the rel, that doesn't feel good.
The TP from Humor, I mean, it's a big mistake on its own. You in that situation, like, I understand wanting to go for the tower, trying to save it, don't want to give any gold over to Smolder. Now this dragon is being started up. Hold that thought, Queen.
Yeah, looks like going to Soul Point
for Elysium.
I mean, he can only look for a steal here. They don't really have a way into this pit. Dragon going down, already to 3/4. Winscombe Lightning's going to miss. Not going to be able to get anything done. They are going to take it, but it looks like they may be looking for the fight. Yone gonna have to snap back here, and there's not gonna have any engage to get it done. That's going to be Soul Point for Elysium Solar here, and they are taking a pretty commanding position in this game.
And Rush getting some much needed time to get gold, right? Takes tier 1 in bot, now tier 1 in top, plus that 1k shutdown regardless of who it's on, unfortunately. They are evening out the gold just a little bit. But it's Soul Point, Infernal Soul Point, with a Zeri that is now 3-0, has Yuntal finish, pretty close to Infinity Edge, and upgraded tank boots. This Zeri doesn't die, this Zeri will kill you in 2 seconds. Your entire team comp is movement based, you're against a Poppy. It's looking pretty rough for a Rush right now. I mean, obviously, like I said before, eventually Smolder will outscale. If Elysium don't close out the game, you know, it might not be, you know, 1,000 stacks. It might be something like 400, but Angel getting ulted in mid-range. Looks like he's dodging it pretty effectively. The health bar isn't going any lower. And Queen 6 still wants to invade, so Rush still have the mental to, you know, go forward, invade the jungle.
Looks like a dive bot could be happening here coming up. Looks like we do have a little bit of fighting going on down on the bot side. We'll have to get a look back at that. It looks like Yone able to dodge that dive as we do see the Herald popped, trying to get some additional gold back here on this top side as they are going to get this Mel back in the game just a little bit. It's a lot of gold going over here. Of course, the scaling on that Mel being very, very prevalent. Ooh, this is danger. This is trouble. Oh no! The greed for the extra charge is going to lead. The Flag and Drag may go wide, but the damage, the 4v1 is just too much. And they are going to pick that up on Metal, on the Ornn. And that's I don't know if that's worth it. I mean, you get some gold on Mel there, you get that tier 2, but you just kind of throw it away. There's nothing for you to get if you're XVR. Like there's no objective up. You already lost bot tower. You know, there's really
there's Otacon and they're on it.
Oh, there's Otacon. Sorry, not paying attention here. As you see, Keeper's Verdict about to be charged. It is going to jump. Absolutely beautiful Keeper's Verdict there, popping out Queen 6. Southport are going in, buying space. And Metal is there too as the crash down is going to go in. Queen 6 looking, Winscombe Lightning going to hit. There's so much damage. The Zeri ultimate coming out. If you're going to see him hiding back, doing so much damage. The flash away. Queen 6 going in, but he is going to get shut down by the Chaser. So much damage, like we said, the TP behind. Watch for it here. Is Rutledge on the backside. That Solar Snap going to be a huge ability because they're going to look for Chaser. Chaser on the outside in a 1v1. The volley going to connect. Solar Snap, the flash away. It looks like he might just be safe. We don't have enough. The Golden Eclipse going to be stopped by Barrier, and Angel not going to be able to catch him. They are going to get away with this Otacon. The Keeper's Verdict, absolutely beautiful in this game.
Yeah. It was such a well-placed ult from supported there, but Elysium, I feel like not on the same page.
Absolutely.
Either commit to the objective or go for the fight, and I feel like unlucky. Really take it in your face. Yeah. I feel like if you're going to use Keeper's Verdict early like that, which it did hit the most important members, you go for the fight. You immediately collapse onto Zendrick on the rel, and then as soon as Angel's just dead again.
No, Rutledge looking like they're trying to get something back here, but so tanky at this stage. Winscombe Lightning actually not going to be doing what they want. That Solar Snap just not able to get any damage onto this Poppy. Sunporta just ahead enough to absorb that with no threat. Yeah, they got to be careful here. Elysium just doing a much better job of controlling the map, and these like random picks that Humor is able to get out in those 1v1s, it's been absolutely great for them.
This guy doesn't miss.
Yeah, absolutely.
He's been hitting it all. Now, Angel, we saw a little bit, maybe 30 seconds before.
Oh no.
He's
going to be stunned. The flag and drag. The solar snap's going to act. Steadfast Presence going to try to lock him in. The ultimate coming through. We do see a double TP Cataclysm, but immediately flashing out. The Sunporta is going to be taken down by the Mel. We do see Yone dashing through. He does have, the ultimate not going to be able to get enough damage. Call the Fortune as they look for the re-engage. Double knockup here in the background. Chaser trying to get the damage. Rutledge looking for that volley, but the Arcane right getting a double, triple kill. Oh, the Zeri actually got to pick those up, but 3 contributions there from Arcane Right as Humor just hits all the damage there in the end. Holy cow. I'm not quite sure how Zeri picked some of those up, but Humor doing so much work on this Xerath. 7-2 and 6. Holy
I'm
cow.
completely complaining if I'm Xerath. That was the most beautiful one-shot, one-kill, pod sniping montage, triple kill there.
Absolutely.
Zeri didn't take one. Now, Chaser ult's a little late here. I'm scared of the initial fight for Elysium. The collapse on the Zendrick is really great into the wall. But, again, this is a tank that has the support upgrade. Now, where's the Zeri ult here? It hasn't been used at all. Now it gets popped. Dodges the ult. Look at that dash from Chaser.
Wow.
That was so
Picture
nasty.
perfect. Oh
and
my
I
gosh.
think that for Rush, if you walk away here, this fight is fine. But
Yeah.
the reflect was used too early. Might reflect call the Forge God there. One. Look at this. Here, where's the next one? There it is. One pop. There's the 2. Look perfectly onto Kuzu here. Somehow.
That looks like a Xerath kill to me. I don't know.
I agree.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, this Xerath just turning out to be such an impactful pick for them right now. Putting out so much damage. You see 14 stacks on that Magi. He's looking to probably finish up our Death Cat, possibly Shadow Flame. As now you've got to be careful. Just no real vision control on this top side. Of course, Baron looking to spawn here in about 30 seconds as they put some pressure towards this top tower.
Infernal Soul was taken in that break when we were watching the replay. So much extra damage, and it basically just free stats over to Elysium. Smolder, Angel, still far away from being relevant. Kuzu under this top tower, maybe under a bit of threat, but Chase is taking a lot of damage. I'd love a reset, come out of base. But I think that Rush have done a really good job on their macro game. They're just so far down in team fighting, where this Xerath is untouchable, completely off the rails. They have no real way to land onto Zeri effectively. Like you saw Chase's movement on the Zeri is super crisp and clean, dodging Fate Sealed at the end. But if you start to get these objective bounties, like look at the towers, it's pretty good for Rush. The gold lead isn't crazy. It's just on the right champions, this gold lead for Elysium. I think if Rush can, find an angle back to this game, that would be ridiculous. But in game 2, if they're able to not lose lane as hard as they did.
Humor picks up another one.
That was a 2v1 as well.
Gosh.
Metal used all the Forge God there down the bot side to find that kill. Rutledge have had a really, really hard time.
Yeah, just not a lot for them to do here as they try to get mid control back again, but God's Glory looking. Angel in a bad position. The flag drag just going to hit the Cataclysm. Immediately going to be taken out by that first damage. Very poorly positioned. Both Flash and Barrier up. He is going to stun to buy himself some time, sacrificing his life for Queen 6 there, but that should be a Baron for Elysium Solar. Wow, that was just very rough. Yone here may look for something. Gathering Storm gonna miss. Dash out by Metal as he is gonna try to escape. Kuzu gonna go dashing forward. The face is gonna go. It is gonna connect on the very edge. Queen 6 gonna look to pick up this kill. Try to pick up something. Winds become lightning. Smite for the slow. He's gonna be able to catch him. Metal does a good job of buying time. The Brittle doing so much damage, but they are gonna take him down. I think that's a fair trade for Baron.
They're completely worth death right there. We're going to take a look at this bot fight. Rutledge, like, you just don't have prio here. Even if Humor doesn't ult. Is there a reflect? Okay, there is a reflect. That's good, but
This
now
doesn't
you've got
matter.
nothing.
Oh, one ultimate does quarter HP. That's just, oh my
Yeah.
gosh. There's not
This
much
is
you
the
can do
thing.
there.
It's like not a global ultimate or semi-global, I guess, in the sense of like a Pantheon, right, or a Shen. It is a
Right.
full global, but it's still an impacting the side lane kind of pick, where Xerath goes mid, force mid prior by one-shotting the wave, and then rotate like literally 2 steps down into the brush, and then ults. And what do? It's pretty easy for Metal on Ornn to force that reflect if he's just playing aggressive, which Rutledge was playing aggressive, so has to use that to just immune the Call the Forge. I think Rutledge dies anyway if he doesn't immune that. But then this 20 Medjay stack, nearly Rabadon's finished Xerath, basically just one-shots him as soon as that is down. A half hit with Q, and here comes the ult.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, he's still got more.
He's holding.
More.
Oh, one more. Oh, he's gonna take him down anyway. Humor absolutely getting the better of Rutledge in this matchup right now. Oh my gosh, that is absolutely crushing as they look to siege on this bot side tower. We do see them picking up a bounty there in the mid lane. I don't know if we can get a stack count here on Smolder, but I don't know. I think it's just too late anyway. I just don't think it matters.
Yeah, it's tough.
Oh my gosh, one ability there, one Arcano Pulse, just almost one-shotting Angel on this Smolder. This Xerath absolutely running this game right now. Oh no,
He has
the snapback.
But he's gone, my friend.
Absolutely shut down, not much to say there. Crash down to escape as we do see Metal TPing in, gonna escort this bot wave in as they look for the mid wave. Ooh, the flag and drag. Oh my gosh, Humor is doing so much damage. Cataclysm gonna shut him down there as Humor looks to get the other double kill. Call the Fortnite gonna connect. Steadfast presence, teaming locked in place. The Rel ultimate trying to buy space, but it doesn't happen. That's going to be a triple kill for Xerath and an ace for Elysium Solar as they look to take down game number 1. And you know what? It looks a little back and forth in the beginning, but Solar picked it up and kind of ran away with it there.
Yeah, after let's give his verdict on the Nexus to make sure that it couldn't run away. And it explodes in some pretty flashes of blue. But after that early, the early first 2 kills for Chaser, it basically was just over. Humor was basically just diffing mid the entire game by himself. Look at that damage.
Look at that damage. Oh my gosh.
About Chaser being the main character, but Xerath was picked against the Mel. I said on draft that I wasn't I felt like the Xerath didn't really fit into the draft, and I'm gonna stick to that. If Xerath isn't actually 10-0 with 25 stacks of Medjay's.
Exactly.
Yeah, what can you say?
Gosh.
You lose lane, and it's one of those picks where Jinja can't really do anything against it. Mel, at that point, can't really do anything against it. Smolder is completely useless against the Xerath. You have to execute some, more difficult team fighting to land onto the Xerath later on, which I did. We were talking about blue side draft being a little bit easy to execute on, which I do think is the case. But landing onto Xerath when he's playing super well, you've got to have great vision, which Rush did not. You have to have great pathing and kind of sandwich collapse onto the Xerath. And then even still, Zeri is still there. Didn't do a ton of damage, but most of that was because she didn't really need to. There was no fighting. It was all just
getting blown up.
My mid laner just one-shot the enemy AD carry. I guess I'll farm again. There isn't really a whole lot for Chaser to do. I think I do think that Rush had some good macro decisions. They played the map decently well, throughout the mid game, but you have to have better lanes. It does really suck as a team to say, man, we just got thrashed in lane in every lane. Or Yone did not get a lead at all with the counter pick. Mel
well, and this vision control on the bot side too. The fact that they were able to get repeat ganked like that with their flash down, I mean, I don't want to be that guy. This is a diamond league. That's kind of unacceptable, I think, at this point. That vision has to get cleaned up in that bot side. Zendrick had a ward off cooldown in their inventory, so there's no real excuse there. And like you said, in that mid lane, I mean, we've got to find Rutledge an even or favorable matchup, because we've seen what Humor can do when he has the favorable matchup on his side, and I don't think that Rush wants to let him go through and do that again.
Yeah, and it's another thing as well. Talking about jungle pathing, is Yone solo killing Ornn like level 2 or 3? Do you need to be there to assist the dive or something? I don't think you do. I don't really think that there's a point in trying to fight mid. I think that both of them are just going to farm from a distance. I think the only lane that matters early game is bot side.
Agreed.
And I mean, which team is aware of that and is pathing down bot twice in a row, getting a flash, punishing it. It's really difficult to say just cover the, fight, just be there at the right times. But that kind of is the only answer when
Mhm.
you've got a Jarvan that is there at the right times, finding the knockups and shutting down like your main character basically in this Smolder, the champion that needs the most time, needs the most resources. That really is all there is to say about that early game. You have to be aware that that's your volatile lane. You need to play around it.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Well, we are going to go ahead and take a quick break before we get into game number 2. Is Elysium Solar going to make quick work, or is Rush going to battle back and give us a series? We'll find out after this. Welcome back, Titan Esports fans, as we jump back into game number 2 here for our Conqueror League week number 5 between Elysium Solar and XSV Rush. Elysium Solar go ahead taking down game number 1. Humor having a dominating performance on Xerath. Of course, Chaser and Supporta also showing the love. God's Glory having some great map awareness, getting some plays done, and we need to see something change going into game 2 number here.
Yeah, I mean, prior for Rutledge, something with a bit more agency for Angel, all these things that potentially could help Rush out. I think as well, the counter and top that didn't really end up doing a whole lot for Kuzu, all of these things could be looked at for Rush as a decision for how do we make our early game look better? Swap it up, play weak side top, have your jungle path bot, take the skirmish, fight, play Zyra Khan as an example, and a skirmish jungler, right? Zyra Khan, Viari, something else, in the bot side, maybe it's like a Varus or Jin. All of these things could work really well if you just want to have a bit of an earlier skirmish and a stronger look for Rush. But for Elysium, I think don't change anything. Get, weak side top, the same style of jungle. Like we're talking about these bruiser junglers. Play that. Play something that Huma's comfortable with. You can play a scaling, Jinx. You could play Kaiser if you wanted to. It's a very similar look to the Zeri with an engaged support, and just do the exact same thing. Put it on Rush's shoulders. You guys need to change the plan up because we're just going to win again if you do the same thing.
Well, I 100% agree with you. And the beautiful thing is, this being fearless draft, as we get into draft, they're going to have to pick all new champions, and this gives Rush the exact opportunity they need to switch it up.
Yeah,
all right, we are here in draft.
The same stuff. Is it the same Viego ban? They don't. Do they have to miss a ban again? No.
Yeah, usually it's
okay. I
guess not. Yeah, usually it's for the whole
just
series.
For game 1?
Depends on the penalty. Yeah, it just depends on the penalty. So, yep, just the one game. It looks like. Okay. Yeah, looks like Rush going to opt for this red side counter pick heavy again. The Zyra gonna be banned out along with Morgana. Some target bans there, like you said. The Viego still being picked up. You guys look to the bottom of the screen towards our graphic. You will see the champions from game number 1 not allowed to be picked again in this game. Looks like they're keeping the Kindred locked off to Ivern. Seems like pretty similar bans going into game number 2 here.
Yeah, it is. This is, surprising to me too. I'm not a huge fan of keeping the exact same bans on blue side and red side because you're basically saying not only do we not have an answer to these, but we also can't play them either at all.
Right.
Which, there's the Jinx, right? One of the things that I talked about, Jinx, Zeri, Jinx and Kai'Sa, the two that I brought up. I think this is a great pick because one of Jinx's biggest counters in the Jarvan has been picked away, but Rush maybe going towards a Zyra Khan doing again.
Were they listening to you? were they sneaking in on the cast?
Actually, I have both of their Discords open and I'm checking them. And the Wukong, which is quite good at catching out the Jinx.
Yeah, I do like the Wukong answer here. Likely to go jungle, of course, could go top, but you don't see that very often. The Cyclone able to, as you said, get on top of that Jinx is the Trundle. Gonna be a quick answer there. Could be jungle, could be top. We have seen Trundle see an uptick in pick rate in jungle across the last couple of patches, with these bruisers all being very prominent. Trundle's, power goes up as the Gragas looks like going to be the blind pick for our top laner here, Metal, on another champ where he can just try to neutralize lane and be effective in team fights.
Just go Rakan, please.
The Mundo locked in. I guess we're leaving the R5 open for Rutledge. I could see that, wanting to make sure he's into a favorable matchup. But this Mundo pick, I guess it goes okay into the Gragas. They kind of don't do anything to each other. unless Gragas just gets hammered by a bunch of bone saws, it doesn't really doesn't really do much. We're going to see similar support bands, the same support bands from Rush, going to be Braum and Lulu. Of course, Lulu, another traditional pairing with Jinx. And Thresh, Leona, matching bands. So we have basically 9 of 10 matching bands all the way across the board here. As XVR looks to pair their 80 carry right now. Like you said, the Rakan is going to be locked in.
What?
But I just...
Guys, there's no Poppy. Ban Rakan. Who is playing Xayah Thresh ever? That sounds horrendous.
As Hui, another good blind pick. We were talking about that, those priority mid laners. You got to imagine to see something like the Victor come out. Victor, very favorable matchup into Hui early on, as the Renata is going to be locked in here. I mean, that is just going to be a very backbreaking part of draft here. We'll see what they come out in mid lane, but Renata is such a solid pick here. The Syndra going to be locked in. Another good answer to the Hui here, really able to kind of control the lane after a certain point and one-shot those back lines and have early control with the wave, as Hui does tend to struggle a little bit in those early levels. All right, talk to me about this bot lane matchup.
All right.
Talk to me about this bot lane matchup, because
I think it's really hard to call Renatas when they're coming out, because I haven't seen a single Renata played. I've been, casting around like BOL, this league, Titan for like 6 months, maybe a little less. In all 3 of those for this year, right? I haven't seen a single Renata, I'm pretty sure. I just think no one plays as champion. But I think it's really good. I think it's one of the most underrated supports if you can actually play it. It has an excellent matchup against Rakan, like such a good matchup. If you're good at hitting Handshake, it just completely stops him every single time. Jinx Renata, not the most standard, matchup, but Bailout works really well with Jinx as well. Extra attack speed, extra movement speed. Once she gets excited, if you're able to revive her or even just give Jinx another 2 seconds of hitting to either get another reset, which, they stack on top of each other, the Bailout plus get excited, or even just do enough damage so that Trundle can get the last hit after Jinx ends up dying. I think that the Xayah Khan, obviously, very, very strong matchup as well. Quite hard, though, into, the push from the Jinx, the anti, engage from Renata. I'm just so shocked that Elysium don't ban Rakan. I think that is a huge mistake from Rush to not go Rakan in their top 3. I'm not quite sure why Mundo is picked here at all. Like, Trundle's already available. Trundle eats Mundo. But just go Xayah, Rakan, Wukong in your top 3. It's pretty good. And then look for top lane counter pick. But, I mean, Gragas is not the best into something like a Mundo, but it's pretty good against, disabling the engage from Rakan, from Wukong, from splitting up the fight, from trying to, basically force Featherstorm out of Angel, maybe force Flash out of Rutledge, and then...
Well, it just neutralizes the lane, right?
Yeah.
Kuzu, what's he gonna do? Like, I mean, he doesn't do anything to him.
It's the same thing.
Yeah, unless Metal just takes a bunch of free damage for nothing. Like, this lane is just... Cool, we're both gonna farm, we're both gonna scale. Like, very boring.
Yeah.
And you gotta imagine, at least I would hope so, especially from the side of Rush here, path towards his bot lane. Like, I don't ever want to see Wukong ganking this Gragas unless he's like trying to dive Mundo and you just happen to be on that side of the map, which that scenario should not ever happen. So you should be repeat ganking them here. But it does sound like we are ready to get into game number 2 here. Elysium Solar versus XSVR. One last question before we get in, as I always like to do. Who do you give the edge to in draft? Where are you
I
at?
love Renata, one of my favorite supports. I gotta go with Elysium.
I agree. I think actual drafting, like throughout Elysium, I'm, like I said, with the one mistake of why did we let Rakan exist? I think they drafted very well. I like their use of priority and power picks, and I have to lean with you. But that being said, here we are jumping into game number 2 of Titan Conqueror League Week 5. As we get started here, will XSVR make this a series and take us to game 3? Or will Elysium fight their way into playoffs and take this down in a quick 2-0?
Oh, beautiful. Look at that. Nice little
At least
view
he's got the
here.
right Mundo skin, right? I mean,
True.
that's
You know what?
a start.
You're right. That could be too much for Metal to handle.
Oh my
But
gosh.
I mean, maybe the plan was we don't really care about Rakan because we want to go Renata anyway. So like, let's
Sure.
make them go it. Sure. I don't think Renata's too bad into something like a Thresh. I think if you're in a situation where you're playing Xayah Thresh, just open, because how does that pairing work at all?
And not very well from an execution standpoint. I mean, you're still a hook champion, but they kind of like, you want supports that are a little more like self-reliant, and Thresh wants to be around their
Yeah.
AD carry. They want to be doing those things, and as Xayah, like you want to hit a certain point where it's like, cool, I 2 ability the wave and it's gone, and Rakan is off, jumping this way with no flash, right? Like that's what we want to see in this game, and if Rakan's not there, it's a lot harder to do. So we'll have to see how they try to do it. Of course, basic 5-point here. Nobody really fighting for vision. Quay might be able to sneak some in here. Kind of get a ward successfully onto Queen Styx's Raptors. We'll be able to see where they start out as, pretty normal otherwise so far.
I mean, there is some scaling for Rush, right? We were talking about the Mundo. I think, I'm not a Mundo player myself, but I've been watching a bit of a Laos. It's that Warmog's early spike. When you get that, you start feeling really strong. 2 items.
Oh, a little bit of fighting here. Sun Porta got a flash away as a huge engage level 1, not giving respect over to that early damage and the engage there. So great pop up there as they continue to fight for level 2. Hopefully we can see that Jinx, as we do have a level 2 topside Metal not hitting level 2 yet. What is going on? This is just absolutely wild here in the beginning of the game. Some early trades going in the favor of Rush.
It's good to see Rush fighting back. I mean, that's a showing of a team who knows how to play Xayah Rakan, right? It's the W start from Angel, which is the all-in.
Yep.
That's what you have to go. We look for the, the knock-up onto Supporter, who isn't going to have handshake level 1, right? He's going to have the shield, he's going to have the E. So it's a different gank.
Ooh, the pillar. Oh, it's going to be knocked out. Rutledge able to sidestep. Queen 6 going to help defend a little bit too. Ooh, as he's going to be pushed. But I like the look there, just kind of like panic checking Rutledge, like, hey, are you paying attention? Are you really here for it? As God's Glory is still going to be able to move up and might be taking a peek towards top side, but is going to go ahead and finish clearing his camps. I don't hate that. I like, hey, we're going to just kind of see, are you paying attention? There's something there.
Yeah, it's kind of flash.
Yeah, exactly.
I think if Queen Styx isn't there, it's a lot scarier. But Human misses Fear, which I think if that's on target, Rutledge might die, or obviously just has to flash away, which is a complete win for Elysium. I mean, you don't use anything anyway. You just walk in, basically, a wake-up check. Are you paying attention?
So fighting on the top side, the body slam goes wide. The cast is doing a little bit of damage here, though. But you got to be careful as the passive is taken, and the cast is going to go first blood to Metal in the top side. We just talked about how there should be a neutralizing lane, but Metal says, no, I will punish you up a level, fighting inside the wave, and Metal takes down first blood for Elysium Solar.
I mean, I really gotta shout out Aloth once again. It's on his pick recently. Fundamentos right here. He's just up a level. That's it. He's just level 4.
And he fights him in the
level 4,
wave.
There's a full wave. He walks up to last hit the cannon when he can probably just do that from far away. And then even he's
much
still
mini
fighting.
Damage. Yeah, so much mini damage, man.
He's a level down. What is this? 10 minions he's tanking. All like so many casters. Nearly 10 casters there. He's just tanking him the whole time and just melts.
Oh, we see God's Glory. So God's Glory going to take it. The pillar going to knock down Queen 6, trying to buy some time. They are going to go ahead and get them pushed away with Scout of the Week. But you know what? I like that they're looking. I like that they're testing Rutledge's mental right here, continuing to put pressure on him, understanding how his last matchup went. I love that from Elysium Solar.
Here's the thing with Rush. They are kind of flipping the script here a little bit. They have Prio in minimum bot lane. Obviously, they've got it now on top, but top is very turn-based, like the most turn-based Prio lane.
Right.
Mid lane has been generating a decent amount of Prio, at least in that last play there. Found some good trades under Humor, but bot lane has had Prio for a large portion of the game so far, which is completely different to last game. What's Rush's adaptation? Is it a dragon stacking game? Is it a team fight? You can't really dive Renata Jinx. It's not happening. Up in top, Metal once again, but these trades. I don't know if he's...
I like this heavy trading pattern, though, because you have your TP, right? So as long as you don't get yourself caught out here, you have the ability to take these heavy trades, TP back, pick up another component or item, and come back and try to continue to put that pressure. Luna doesn't have it.
Yeah, and then there's the thing, you know, look at this base. He got tier, mana, crystal at the first base, right? So he's not even really that strong. I think God's Glory has snuck into the top rush. I don't think he's been seen here.
He has not been. Oh, this is going to be a moment. Looks like he... Oh, the jungle pet.
Oh, no.
Jungle pet. The jungle pet is visible. If he's paying... Oh, he's going to be on the vision there either way. Oh, man. That jungle pet, sometimes, I tell you what, it does not give it to you. Queen 6 going to go ahead and take this time to pick up the crab, even out the CS, or excuse me, continue to build the CS lead here, as they may be looking for a little bit of a dive as they are going, but the flash forward, maybe just trying to zone him off this wave and keep him from getting level 6. Although Queen 6 is looking, and God's Glory might be in trouble. No flash. Zendrick and Rutledge always looking here, and God's Glory going to be taken out by the Dark Sphere Scout of the Week, and that's one for the side of Rush. You know what? I don't know what the thought was there.
Yeah, me neither.
Maybe there's some super high level like tech that I'm missing, but I'm pretty caught up, and I don't know what that was.
30 stacks, 30 smolder stacks on this Syndra right now.
Yeah, absolutely. Of course, Syndra stacking that Transcendence, the Splinters of Wrath. You know, anytime she hits anybody with... Ooh, Zap doing some damage. Supporta also getting it on there. Yeah, 2 abilities within 4 seconds as Kuzu in trouble. The cast going to do so much damage there. Metal, the maximum dosage, trying to keep him alive there. Metal, the body slam. He's one more auto away, and Metal gets another solo kill in this top side. That explosive cast buying him just enough space. And this Grog is off to a commanding lead in the top side.
You know what's bad about that too? Metal still hasn't based. I was talking before about how he only has tier, mana, and crystal, the health crystal. He's only now basing after the 2 solo kills, nearly 30 CS lead. After the top dive, it looked maybe a bit dicey, but Kuzu only getting the assist, losing the whole wave anyway.
Ooh, Grand Entrance being caught with the handshake, as we discussed. Queen 6 maybe looking to force on the Cyclone, but they are backing away. Supporta doing a great job with that handshake to back them off, as they do look to fight over Prio for this dragon here. As we may get some fighting. We'll see what happens. They have full Prio in this mid lane. God's Glory is there, but it looks like they may just be giving it. Yep, giving it and trading neutral objectives. Wow, this is... You know what? I like you said, Dragon stacking. Rush says, hey, we're going to change the script. We're going to flip. I do like to see the Rutledge using this Prio, trying to look for plays, you know, rotating top, rotating to the spot side. I can definitely appreciate that. But of course, with this Prio on the top side from Metal, these grubs should be relatively free. Not a whole lot to worry about there as we trade these objectives.
I think for Elysium, it's still a happy trade. You've got Trundle and Jinx, both incredible tower pushes. So getting 3 grubs is completely worth, but yeah, mid and top Prio.
Oh, Metal just having his way in the top side. The body slam explosive cast trying to get so much damage. Maybe not quite as beneficial of a trade as he wanted. You know, taking that tower shot definitely didn't help, but Rutledge in trouble. He still has this flash available, but God's Glory is here. The Scout of the Week going to connect, but Humor still looking for him. The flash away, the flash forward, the fear's gonna land, and he's going to take it. That passive there. Oh my gosh, signature of the Visionary, just able to pick and clean that up, that passive damage. And this is God's Glory just keeping his eye on mid, keeping a hold of this mid lane matchup and trying to get Humor back ahead.
I'd love to have a look back at that if we could.
Oh, huge flash. Oh my gosh, beautiful flash.
The Chompers rooted Angel. Like that Nice little 2v2 or 2v3 there. Sorry for Elysium.
Metal might be in trouble. The Boto's going to land. He is going to hit though. The boat's not hitting so much. The body slam, the maximum dosage, able to keep Kuzu in generally in favor. His TP is up. He'll take this opportunity to the base. That is the flash by Metal, but we may be looking top again as God's Glory trying to find out here.
Nice.
There may be another. There may be another. It looks like they're going to give up on it. The side of the wave's not big enough. I can appreciate that. That's still a risky dive, any way you look at it. No reason to flip your lead there.
Yeah, especially when you've got such a big lead in top just being generated naturally. There's no real reason to overforce. The tower will fall eventually. You know, you don't really need to force plates out. The Gragas is stacking Roa, right? Roa and Tier. You just want to give Metal as much time as possible.
Yeah.
If he's winning lane in isolation, then that's excellent. But yeah, that play in mid. Rutledge, I feel like if he just passed down towards the river to his team and flashes instantly, I think he's out because Queen Styx was nearly there and the entire bot lane from Rush had also moved to try to keep Rutledge alive. Instead, he tries to run directly up the lane where Trundle is like basically kind of coming from, which, I mean, I get it. That's your safe spot. Flashing into a bush, into river feels a bit scary, but I think that's the only real way Rutledge lives, although it is very easy to say in my chair and my heater on and I'm comfortable and I'm not stressed about this at all. So, yeah, it's completely easy for me to say, but this Renata hasn't been active in team fights yet. Not that it should have been at this point, but what I'm saying is that Elysium still feel like the better team fighting team so far in this game. Renata is going to completely change how that's gone, and it's gone pretty well for Elysium already. Another thing as well, Chaser, this is the second game in a row that he's gone tank boots. I don't think you need to go, I don't think I want to go tank boots this game. I get it. There's a Xayah and a Wukong, but is this like a crazy plated lookup game?
Yeah, I'm with you. I'm not quite sure where they're coming in with that. I think Xayah, especially because look at yourself as Jinx, you know, against Xayah like that. She's such short range. I mean, if Xayah's auto-attacking you, it's probably not a great spot to be in, right? You know, I'd be a lot more worried about, if you want to be defensive, getting those Merc treads, not getting one shot or stunned by Rutledge. You know, that to me feels a little bit more as Humor may see or may suspect that Queen Styx is sitting in that bush for one reason or another. Giving him a little emote there. Gotta love that. As, ooh, they're gonna look to stop, but they are a little late there, as they're just gonna try to push this wave out and continue putting plate pressure on this bot tower.
One of my favorite mechanics in the entire game is when you auto somebody and they get their base off, or like use a channeled ability and it follows them to base. Recently I saw like an ace in the hole do that.
Ooh, God's Glory. Again, the vision and a TP. Wow. Oh my gosh, they are looking for this bot side. Grand Entrance is going to go ahead and stop there. Angel still has the Featherstorm. The flash out though. Oh, the cask is gonna land. No Featherstorm there. Zedric looking to escape, but he gets shut down by Eli. And Angel's in trouble. Oh, Glory. The Unleashed Power is not going to be enough damage. Ooh. And the Super Mega Death Rocket isn't either. Both ultimates just missing out, as they are still going to pick one up for Chaser there. Holy cow. That was...
a lot invested for one.
That was a lot invested. Yeah.
And you do force Flash Barrier and Featherstorm out of Angel.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, like, I said...
She held the Featherstorm so long. Oh, yeah, Queen Styx in trouble again. So much damage coming down. Cyclone using it to disengage, but the Chomp is so much damage from God's Glory there. Of course, we see the Spiraling Despair. Oh my gosh, Rutledge being taken down in the 1v1 again. Spiraling Despair, so much damage. You know, the passive damage from play is so underrated sometimes. That's just so much damage. And then, of course, we saw, Queen Styx getting absolutely deleted by the Subjugate, the ultimate from Trundle, just doing so much damage here. And that's going to be total feats of warfare for the side of Elysium Solar. It's the second tower they're going to have taken down. And unfortunately, they're kind of in a commanding position again in this game.
Renata fills such a unique role in a team comp, especially when paired with something like a Trundle. God's glory. Sees them over the wall there. But it feels like kind of an enchanted position, right? Where you just run around the map with your Trundle and you just buff him and he just runs enemy down and kills them and eats them basically.
Yep.
But this is another game where Metal still only 4 stacks of Roa. Still has, you know, probably 5 more minutes maybe before that and Tier are going to be finished, you know, unless he's taking like a ridiculous amount of trades against Kuzu. And it's Hexol. I mean, you've only got 1 drag in this game, sure. But you've got a ton of poke with Hui and Gragas to proc that Hextech Drake. The AoE slows means that it's way easier for Jinx to get resets, right? Because everyone is moving significantly slower. It's good for Trundle as well to catch. Obviously, you know, Trundle Cloud Soul would be maybe better, but as well, it's good with Renata, you know? I think like Hexol is just so good with this comp. They scale way better late game with Jinx and with Dragon.
Ooh, there's so much going on here as the quickness trying to get them up, trying to look for a pick. The Cyclone doing so much damage, but the takeover and the bailout on God's glory. He is still going to go down to the Mundo. He scattered away doing so much, Scatter the Weak doing so much. Super Mega Death Rock going to connect, but not do so much. Angel has arrived, trying to pump out some extra damage. The Feather Storm, but the flash from Humor to dodge. Go pull back on Blade Caller, and they are going to get out. Still a 2-for-1 for the side of Elysium Solar. And yeah, I kind of missed the beginning of that fight, thinking about how the game's playing out, and they just really picked it up there. 71 Splinter of Wrath stacks for our Syndra at this stage. That means she has her first 2 abilities upgraded at this stage. When she gets to 80, she will have another one. And then 120, we will see that Rabadon's Deathcap-esque passive be unlocked for her. And Elysium still just playing so well. We saw the hostile takeover doing so much work there. And that bailout, keeping God's glory alive, Elysium to pick up that second kill. That's just, like you said, just the power of this Renata in this game.
I think as well, Chaser not being there, potentially a misstep from Elysium, but the fact that the fight goes that good and there's no Jinx, what happens if Jinx is there in a 5v5 team fight?
Ooh, God's glory looking here. He doesn't have ultimate, but that's okay. The pass is going to be taken down. Metal trying to pass it around here, trying to sustain. He's not going to be able to do it. God's glory just does so much damage. He does his best to try to get damage on the Metal, but it's not going to happen. And that's without the subjugate. That's still just Trundle doing so much damage there by themselves as they take a peek at this Rift Herald.
And Trundle, without an answer, it's very difficult to shut him down. And, you know, maybe there is an answer, you know. Look for Charm from Zendrick and Angel to hopefully do enough damage. But then you're very close range, getting shot by the sniper that is Humor. Potentially, you know, 1 reset over for Chaser. It might just all be over. You know, something that's interesting about Jinx, actually, thinking about it, is that you get a reset.
Oh my gosh, Queen 6 getting invaded here. Humor stopping him there. The Spiraling Despair connecting, so much damage. Oh my gosh, Humor just soloing him here. Absolutely dominant, taking away the Blast Clone. Humor just putting out standout performances in back-to-back games so far. As he looks for more here, as Relish trying to defend this control weight. Scout of the Week going to connect, but no follow-up. Not a lot you can do at this stage.
I was completely convinced that Queen Six was there. Had Flash, is a Wukong. I was like, yeah, whatever, he's fine. But no, completely one-shot.
He could have just like trickstered over the wall, but he just didn't. I don't know. I'm not sure. As Metal, 2 completed items here. He does have that Seraph's Embrace fully stacked and doing some good damage. The explosive catch as he's trying to make this a full trade. As he is fighting, the maximum dosage is going to be popped. Metal recognizing that with that, the trade is over. But again, I appreciate the look. This is still 1 stack away as Queen 6 may be looking for a dive in this top side. Maybe not. We're looking at live. Looking at live. Cyclone. Grand entrance is going to connect here on live as they are going to go to take down this top side. as it looks like he's able to dodge, but Queen 6 gonna get in as they are able to juggle tower aggro very effectively and get something back on the top side. That being said, though, Elysium Solar is just taking the cake on this bot side. Rutledge being caught by Pillar, having to flash away, and it looks like we are going to get a second charge on this tower as Humor sticks around just long enough. The fear connecting. He is going to get that extra damage down. Half HP on Rutledge already, and this should be a free dragon for Elysium Solar.
I mean, it's very difficult for Rush to walk in. They don't really have any face check. Like, yeah, Rakan can walk in, sure, but he has no flash. He's probably dying. No maximum dosage on Kuzu means if he's caught out, very likely that he will die too. This is a great Mortal Reminder game as well for Chaser. You could go towards like a Runins as well next if you wanted to first, but I think the real only issue is if Jinx isn't able to get a reset because Kuzu's just too tanky, Queen 6 gets on top of him. You know, I still think Bailout and Hostile Takeover is just too strong of a tool. You do have like 10 minutes now before this Infernal Soul, sorry, that was last game. Hextech Soul has been taken by Elysium. So Rush have a decent amount of time to get items on his Xayah, who isn't behind at all. You know, 0-0-0 has both summoners now available.
I think they need to do what they're doing here is they need to look at a pick on Humor. Can they find a pick and get one of these shutouts? The Grand Entrance going to connect the Fear, landing on the Queen 6, but the Sickness going to get 2. But there's so much God's Glory taking so much damage. The Chomp going down, the Bailout is there. He is going to get bailed out and still die. The Hostile Taker looking over, but it is going to catch Angle on the side there as Rutledge taking the Spiraling Despair. Sun Porter taking so much damage from Angel, but Chaser is here in the fight. That handshake was beautiful, but the Featherstorm is gonna connect him. Battle Dance keeping Angel alive as they're fighting. The Blade Collar gonna go in, but it's not enough as Chaser cleans it up. Humor going to get a double kill. Chaser getting a single kill. The TP coming in to defend, but it wasn't needed. This will be an Otacon and a 3-for-1, 4-for-1, excuse me, for the side of Elysium Solar. We're gonna get a quick replay.
I think if Supporter rips Hostile Takeover now, this is like no people die here. I have no idea why Supporter doesn't just ult right now. I know that he gets charmed here, but even still, ult now. You know, like what are we waiting for here? And then waits until God's Glory dies to ult, hits only 1. Still after that, Humor basically one-shots Rutledge.
This handshake is beautiful right here. Beautiful handshake to get him out. Oh like, my gosh.
He's been playing super well on the Renata. To give him credit, to be fair. Blade Caller nearly one-shots Chaser. Unfortunate it doesn't, and then...
I feel like all things considered, Angel played that. Yeah, I feel like all things considered, Angel played that so well. Like about as well as you can. It's just, oh my gosh. Oh, we're seeing the Trickster getting Elysium a little excited there. Yeah, that was a wild. I mean, I like the look, right? I think trying to get to a side lane and pick Humor, kind of like you did with Metal, it is a good call here. He has that shutdown. He is a key member. So any way you can delay him even further is always going to be a good call. But unfortunately, it just turns into a fight. Elysium rotates well. And, you know, something that was different about this last game is, ooh, Queen 6 getting out. Zendrick may not be able to, but Glory decides it is not worth invading so far. Is, you know, this first game is, they're only up about 2-3K at most, and that's kind of, you know, they're only 4K up. I mean, they're not super crazy dominating these gold leads, but they just got the gold, like you said, in all the right places. You know, Humor and Chaser are in absolutely stellar positions, both working on their third items. Grand Entrance got a miss, but Chaser's in trouble here. Kukusu is going to just walk at him. The Bailout looking as they're just going to step away, and that's a shutdown. So much damage. It's just kind of walking, taking this tower shot. Metal's there to catch. Is they going to be able to take this tower down before it kills him? Looks like they are. The maximum dose is doing so much. The hostile takeover, not enough. The Pillar going to pop Kukuzu aside, but that's so much. Queen 6, the Cyclone, getting onto God's Glory. He's the primary target. Angel is able to shred him in this moment. This is a huge pickup for XSVR. Oh, but Humor is godlike. And the Fleeting Current doing so much damage, able to take him out there. Wow, Humor kind of saving this a little bit. That gold lead's still going to be shrunk to about 2,500 gold, but Humor picking up one more kill and getting something back for Solar there.
Yeah, I don't know. The bot lane 2v2 in mid there was, I mean, to be fair, it was Kuzu in mid that just one-shot Chaser, but I mean, this happens sometimes when you're playing like a hyper carry, 80 carry with a support that's making you stronger, not engaging necessarily, where you feel super confident and then you walk way too far forward and you have no flash and basically just die for free. Now,
Yeah,
we're talking about that team fight a little bit earlier. Elysium's draft is so good in corridors, and it's unfortunate because so is Xayah, right? So Rush looking for that play on side is great, but then you walk into Hwei, you walk into Renata in a corridor, and even though it's not played as well as it needs to be, the fight goes so convincingly to Elysium. Now this next dragon has spawned. It's sole point if Elysium can take it, but with Mundo in topside right now.
Oh, Scatter of the Week already going to be used here. I'm with you. I think if you're Rush here, you're just trying to buy as much time as possible and let Kuzu get this tower plate and try to help get some gold back in their pocket. Queen 6 taking so much damage from Humor, even on just the one ability. And it is going to be that. Rutledge looking for a Scout of the Week, but it's going to go wide. He's in trouble now. Sunporta looking for that handshake, but it is just going to miss. We are going to see a TP Metal going to answer this Mundo. Mundo taking so much gold. If you look, the gold is to within 1,000 now after this top take, and he's still fighting it out as they are going to run directly over to the Baron side and start setting up vision for it. Ooh, Super Mega Death Rocket going just wide as Metal. The maximum dosage not available as Chaser is just going to run him down. And Kuzu absolutely overstaying as we do have some fighting going on in this mid side. Not a lot to see here. Cyclone picking up here. Queen 6 taking down God Glory. Sunporta on 1 HP. He is looking to escape. Gonna be rooted. The Zap attacking Eli Chaser. Oh, Sunporta barely escaping with their life at this moment. Hey, Rush says we're not out yet. This game is not over. We are fighting back.
A few things about that. The first thing is that if I'm Angel, my support took a 1,000 gold shutdown again. And I'm mad about it because there is zero world in which Rakan ever needs to be auto-attacking anybody. If you just knock him up and ult him and then leave it alone, maybe it was Ignite tick, no idea, but that's really unfortunate. The second thing is Metal TPing away to top tower to defend it is the correct play. But the passing from Elysium is so aggressive. I think if you're Kuzu there, if you see that TP, you go, guys, I'm TPing now. Back to, like, let's say mid-wave, because the mid-wave was pushed in. And that's where Elysium was retreating to. Now there's a sandwich. Metal can't join. He's stuck either farming wave or chasing after very late. And then take the fight in mid. Baron spawns. That play is so winning. Instead, Kuzu tries to take an all-in at tier 3. And for what? And then ends up dying. Unfortunately, Humor's still caught out. Like, they do still win the fight because Humor is caught out. They get the shutdown on either Kuzu or hopefully it's Angel. I don't know. I think that sometimes the push is a little bit too much.
Agreed. Looking at the state of the game, Kuzu on 3 items, level 16. You know, he may have gotten stomped early in lane, but he is absolutely and fully recovered. Of course, this Trundle looking to finish off the 3rd item, slightly ahead of his fellow counterpart. Of course, when we look to mid, I think this is where we see some of the biggest disparity. Of course, Humor looking to complete and work on that 4th item, already has upgraded boots. Rutledge looking to finish his 3rd item. That's going to be a big power creep point to pay attention to. 80 carries, very similar, and supports, again, very similar. So really trying to watch, you know, Humor and Rutledge and how they play out these fights is going to be very, very essential. And I think, like I said, the gold lead actually slightly leaning towards Rush as Kuzu in trouble again on the top side as he is caught out once more. The explosive cap doing so much damage, but they are going to back away. Not sure 100% what the call was. Maximum dosage not popped yet as Humor going to get a solo kill down in the bot side. We may have to play that one back, but he's 100 HP here. So unfortunately, not the greatest thing for Rush as they are going to go ahead and look for the fight here. Zendrick, he's looking. The quickness is activated. He's looking for it. The flash forward. The grand entrance is going to get 2. He's looking to shove, but the hostile takeover is going to get 2. Queen 6 in the cyclone, trying to get on that back line. Metal is low, but Chaser is just hitting. Oh, that's going to be 1. He's excited. That's going to be 2 for Chaser as they are just going to hit, looking for Angel. But Kuzu hitting onto that 80 carry, flashes him away as he is still, but he's stunned and taken away. Angel looking to fight, but Humor taking him down. Kuzu is taking down Chaser, trying to survive. So much going on, but Metal is going to help Humor finish him off, and this is going to be a quick look at Baron as we get a replay.
Now look at
Oh my god.
He's off of vision. And he just gets one shot, he just guesses he's in the bush.
Oh, that doesn't even miss. Oh, he sees the root.
Oh, rooted.
Oh, what? I kind of missed everything.
This is just a really long...
Flash Fear lands again, got him. But Rutledge looks like he was able to stop the Baron and prevent them from taking it. So kudos to him after that fight. Again, looking at the gold lead, I mean, you're 1,000 gold difference at 31 minutes in the game. I mean, this is not...
15 seconds to goal.
Yeah, this is not a big deal. I mean, I think... Honestly, I think if they could find a way to pick Humor off in these fights, there's a good chance. The downside is like Humor and Chaser are both in a good spot, both doing damage. So it's going to be tough, but you know what? We're going to see what would likely be a make or break fight here at this Hextech Soul.
I still think it was another not ideal hostile takeover. Support needs to hit a big one to win this fight convincingly.
Ooh, Metal taking some free poke from Angel. A little out of position as they look to fight over this crab. They got to be careful, though, as the smite is going to take it away. That's some extra vision here. Queen 6 a little caught out, just taking good damage just from the one ability here. Ooh, going to be a huge scat of the week, but no way to follow up as they just posture against each other. Rutledge looking to sneak around for the flank here. It looks like he's just going to go ahead and catch this bot wave and start pushing it in first. I like the idea of trying to get Prio. The passive's going to be popped. There's kind of like seeing who flinches first. Queen 6 looking here. Humor in that side lane as well, looking for the flank. Who's going to flinch first? This is what's happening. God's Glory on the side.
I want Queen 6 behind.
Oh my gosh, here it is. Queen 6
there's
looking.
the quickness.
Yeah, it's already going to be popped out. No, that was Shirelia's. Yeah, quickness still available. Got a lot of posturing here. The poke, seeing who's going to get it going. As we're just going to go hit those. Infected Bone Saws doing so much damage. Maximum dosage is up. Zendrick looking for an angle. The quickness is up. Oh, as we are going to see Kuzu moving in. Cyclone going on. The quickness is available and moving. The hostile takeover huge, hitting 4 members. But Kuzu absolutely obliterating the black line right now. Angel able to stop it out, but it's a 1-for-1 right now. But Queen 6 is so low. Rutledge blocking this. Scout of the week, gotta connect. The flash forward, support is so low. Zendrick taking so much damage. Rutledge able to pick one up. Zendrick, he is gonna be taken down by Queen 6. Oh my gosh, Humor doing so much damage here. Oh, it's another shutdown and a flash away by Rutledge, but God's Glory is running in. The grand entrance, absolutely beautiful to peel off from him. Absolutely wonderful play. Humor gonna get another shutdown on Zendrick. Humor doing absolutely so much damage. Rutledge here. Rutledge has an angle. We'll have to see what he decides to do. The Scout of the Week is going to land. Angel's going to take him down, and Rutledge barely surviving here. Angel looking to take out Glory, trying to get one, but the Blade Caller is going to clean it up, and Rush is going to win the team fight, take the dragon, and extend the game.
I really, really don't like the 5v5 staring at each other in a line kind of playstyle. You have Wukong or Rakan. Look for a flank, please.
Oh my gosh.
If you can like alt flash as either one of those two, either Rakan or Wukong onto this Hui, he is dead. He has no flash. Still, he just got flash off just then. So, I really don't understand that neither Jinx or Hui, I believe, had flash for that entire time. It's so difficult for Elysium to walk in. But you're showing all 5 members on vision and saying, okay, Humor, we're targets. Can you please, we want to practice our juking. We're going to stand 5 in a line.
Playing Mundo
and you
dodgeball
free
here.
fire at us, please.
Yeah.
Like,
what? I
know.
agree. And can we talk about Kuzu in that backline absorbing so much space? Ooh, Zendrick maybe caught out Kuzu running at Humor, saying, hey, I have 7k HP. What are you going to do? Is Zendrick looking in here? The quickness is available, but he's going to get shut down by Humor on the other side of that wall. Kuzu being deleted. The hostile Taker doing so much as Angel deletes his own team, and a double kill picked up by Metal. The Blade Caller doing so much. The hostile takeover so clean there. Angel trying to see what they can clean up. The Featherstorm got to do some damage. Angel able to pick one up and get out, but Humor still looking. Fleeting Current not able to connect there. Gotta be careful. Another Fleeting Current gonna be flashed away from as they continue to run at him. If you're Angel here, another Fleeting Current just barely sidestep your Angel. You have to be so careful here. Trying to fight this crab. It's not worth it. Just get out. Just get out. It's not worth it. It's okay. Save the game as Metal looking through the jungle. Gonna hop over. He might be in trouble. The cask is off cooldown. The flash is gonna connect the cask and the barrel, but he's almost taken down by Angel. That hostile takeover did so much work. We get a quick replay of this jungle fight.
And it's an aggressive positioning for both teams here. Taking the Hex Gates is risky, good handshake, and Kuzu is the main target after Flash is forced out of Humor. It's
The
fairly
quickness
split
on
across the
cooldown.
board right now.
Yeah, the quickness was available that whole time. Oh man, Humor just, like you talked about, he flashes away, nobody's on him. He's just free firing from the side, and oh my gosh. We do see Elysium Solar starting up this Baron, and God's Glory getting so much damage on Rutledge. The Grand Entrance looking to defend, and the TP Kuzu is in there in the deep. As we have Shirley, the quickness, the flash, and the charm, and the quadruple number from the side. Hostile takeover only hitting one, but Queen 6 being deleted. Chaser doing so much damage, and it's not enough. Angel not there, not able to put out damage. They took the fight in a 4v5. Angel not there to put it out. A beautiful engage by Zendrick, but it's just no damage. And that's a Baron take from Elysium Solar. And you gotta imagine this is where the game ends.
Yeah, it's slowly slipping more and more away from Rush. That engage from Zendrick was so nice, but it's really the shielding from both Clay, Renata, and the hostile takeover at the end just nailed the coffin shut. Jinx with resets. I mean, it might not be over right now due to some health bars, but Hex Soul in a minute 20, you lose one Drake due to some, poor team fighting. I will say though, because both teams didn't really like how, I didn't really like how either of these teams played the dragon fight at the end. Oh, sorry, the last one. Maybe if Rush can pull a team fight together, I mean, Angel's not weak at all. Has level 17.
One of the upsides to being this late in the game is eventually people are getting there, right? Like the weakest member on the map is Queen 6, and his, oh my gosh, Rutledge getting scattered of the week. Another takedown for Humor as they're just getting caught out. Zendrick gonna be spiraling despair. Another double kill. That Fleeting Current doing so much damage. The Cyclone trying to escape, but God's Glory just eating him alive. And unfortunately, that is just a huge misstep by Rush here.
No. It was a play we don't understand, okay? Mundo was in top lane with no TP, okay? My jungle is farming wolves. My mid laner needs to walk in 45 seconds before Drake can face check against 5 with Baron, okay? We just don't understand.
Right. We don't. All right, Elysium Solar sieging on the base here, looking to take it down as they try to solidify their spots for playoffs. Kuzu trying to do what he can. The Featherstorm coming out. The Pillar is a good catch. The Barrel catching him. And Kuzu has nothing, as this is going to be another win. It took a little longer. It wasn't quite as clean, but Elysium Solar are going to take this one down and finish off this series.
It's a very strong points from Elysium. Their laning is very dominant and mostly Humor. Humor in this mid lane just finding constant solo kills, side lane plays, hitting every ability. American Sniper in the flesh over here for Humor. He's hitting everything from max range. I think that, this time at least Chaser had more of more time to get involved, and you can see the damage. But I think everybody played super well. I think the main point for me that I want to see improvement on in this game is the Renata. I think that there were some points where the ult could have been ripped at a better time, etc. It's super. I'm really fishing for a tiny needle in a haystack. Like, they played super well, but I think if you want to win in playoffs and do well, you need to be constantly thinking about that. For Rush, I think it's just lanes. You need to find these things that you're really comfortable on. I think Angel had a great game. The smaller game wasn't great, but I don't really think that's an Angel problem. I think that's more of a team problem, right? You're not prioritizing ganks and prio down towards bot side. Zyra Khan looked pretty good. I'm happy with the Zyra. Just build a team comp around it. I didn't love the Mundo. I think if the Mundo is something that gets onto Jinx with the Wukong and the Rakan, and it's like a dive brawl with Zyra in it, I think that team comp is so nice. Like, I mean, maybe a Camille kind of thing could look okay, or even just a Renekton or a Jack, something a lot simpler that just wins lane, can win lane, and allowing him to get onto the Jinx. But I think the main thing for me for Rush is I think Elysium is completely dead in the water at that dragon fight. They're just standing 5 in a line, saying, we don't have a way of engaging this fight because we have Trundle, Gragas, who maybe can hit a bomb, maybe, and Renata. Like, we can't walk forward and flash engage. But Rush, they do. They have Wukong that's great into Hui, great into Jinx, and I'm pretty sure there was no flashes both of the carries. And we have Rakan as well. And on that left side, you see Humor still had to keep checking the brush because they didn't have any wards. At any moment, Rakan could have walked in, Zendrax could have walked in, flashed over the wall, ulted. I think you just have to send it. I need to see more confidence, some better executed team fights. But, I mean, Elysium take a 2-0. It was entertaining.
Yeah, absolutely. And Elysium Esports and XSVR Rush, great game from both. I appreciate you guys a lot. I think teams going through these kind of roster reconstruction that you guys have had to do is always tough. Of course, we are going to see Rush fall down to 3-2 and Elysium Solar go up to 3-2. So playoff aspirations still very alive for both these teams. As we go on in here, getting ready for week 6 and 7 of the league. But man, one last thing, Humor, absolutely dominant performance this series. He was hot. And the only other thing I have is, and if you guys know what's going on in the Midwest right now, it's also hot. So with that, I got to tell you guys about the new summer merch line here at Titan Esports. If you're like any of us, and you like to get out by the pool or get on the beach or anything like that, please head over to FOFesports.com/Titan and get your new summer Titan Esports merch. We have some tank tops, some hats, some shorts, a couple of different things that'll go out. But it's going to be great. We appreciate you guys hanging out with us for the cast, and we'll catch you next time.